Hello everyone, Mocha Bear here. Welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Uh, my hair is all cut out. There we go. Let's lean back. There we go. But how's everyone doing? I hope your Sunday is going well so far. It is 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I am tired. I was out all day yesterday celebrating my birthday early with my parents and some friends since they won't be able to make it out to hang out with me on the actual day this coming Saturday. But we are here to attempt to magnetize the Lord Exultant from the Champions of Slaanesh box set. So, I am eager to get this started. Let's see here. Let me get my... Oh, wrong way. Get that brightened up. And let's drop over to the... Oh, first let me go ahead and... yeah, let's go ahead and swap over to the overhead. Alright, so I have a cup of water here. Oh, let's fix that as well. My apologies. I need to... Oh, it won't let me swap it once I'm live. Wonderful. Wait a minute. Maybe because it's locked. Let's try that. That's why, because it's locked. Flip horizontal. There we go. That's better. I figured it out, y'all. Alright, so I have a cup of water here because what I'm gonna be using some liquid green stuff. I don't have the solid green stuff, the blue and yellow putty that you mix together. So I have the liquid green stuff. I've used this for magnetizations I've done in the past for my Annihilation / Catacomb Command Barge for my Necrons. If you want to see videos on how to do that, look up Idic Beer. That's IDIC, India Delta India Charlie Beer, and he has a video on how to do that. It's an older video, but I've used it. So let's actually dim that a bit so you can see. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead. Now I clipped the parts I'm gonna need. These are the two head options that the Lord Exultant has. I'm thinking about magnetizing those. However, I want to show you. Of course, here's this body, the torso. I've only built the torso together. I did not put on the cape, the chest piece, or anything because I'm going to prime him, and then I'll prime and paint him, and then when he's painted and the accessories are painted, then I will super glue them on. But yeah, what we are going to need is some green stuff. I've got drill bits. These are the Army Painter drill bits. I've got magnets. The Army Painter magnets. These are the 3mm and 5mm, which I probably won't be needing for this, but I have them anyway. Of course, these are Primal Horizon magnets. I got these from my local hobby store years ago. Now, these are definitely not going to be used. What I am going to be using are from here. So I have my drill and the drill bits that came with it. These are the original Games Workshop drill and bits. I have, as you can see here, magnets. These are the smaller magnets. Now these I got K&G Magnetics. I think I got these on eBay. As you can see them right there. Let's bring that out of the light. There you go. Yeah. These are 1/16 by 132 and 52. Yeah, everyone recommends that you try to get N52 magnets. They are the strongest magnets for this. And then I have a few more. These I think are 2x1 millimeter magnets versus these in here, and these pretty much being 1 by 1 millimeter. So of that, probably gonna need to take that out because, yeah, the magnets I'm using are pretty tiny. So let's go ahead and get our music started. So let me put my headphones on so I can hear with you all and make sure that we have it not too loud and not too quiet. Please do not hesitate to let me know if the music ever is too loud or too quiet for you, so that way I can adjust it. But what I went ahead and did was I pre-snipped the bits that I'm going to be using. I already went ahead and glued the power fist together because the index and middle finger were separate pieces were separate from the rest of the hand. So you had to glue that together. I did that on the day I picked up the box. So I even started building him that day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to need to magnetize him. So we got the power fist. We got the whip and the plasma gun for his right hands or arms. Now, the good thing is those just need to have a magnet put in and align it with his arm here. There's no additional separate arm for that. Now, his left side is a different story. He has 2 different arms because, can't tell, there we go. So as you can see, he's got different ways he can hold his weapons, the lance and his noise pistol. I'm not sure what it's called. I'm still learning everything. And then here, he's got an arm coming down holding the sword, and the same thing for the pistol. So I'm debating, I was thinking that I might glue the sword hand to that arm, to A14, and then just magnetize the arm itself, because I do like the look of the sword coming down versus him holding it straight out like he would be here. But I do like the look of him holding the pistol out. So if I were to have the whip, now the reason I want to potentially magnetize the head is that way if he has the pistol or the lance, he could be facing this way. But if he's got the sword and something else here, he could be looking forward, kind of. So if I magnetize the head, I can just rotate it. I can just swivel it to whatever direction I want. So we are going to plan everything. Let's see here. So yeah, what I might do, I might actually do that. Glue. I thought about doing that last night, but I was like, let me sleep on it. Literally sleep on it to see if that's what I want. And I'm thinking that that might be the plan. So yeah. But we will magnetize the arm first before we glue the sword to it, just so we can make sure that it looks right. So we're gonna go ahead and work on this one first. So let's check our magnets. See the size, because these are pretty small magnets. I could attempt to put 2 in to that socket to make things easier for me, but I need to make sure. Okay, there we go. That's how it goes on. You need to make sure that you line them up to figure out their angles. So I might actually, might actually go with the thicker magnets. I think these are the same size. Yeah, these are. Okay. And yeah, those are a little thicker, but let's see here. I think these are the same magnets. Yeah, okay. Let's get that back in here. Yeah, those are from here. Now, I don't know if you can't really see that. Let's do this. You see, yeah, right how there's a black mark on here? You are going to want to make sure that when you are magnetizing, you have the correct faces, the correct poles aligned. So the best way to do that is just to use a Sharpie. And when you put the magnet into the socket, the first magnet in, you want to put a marker on the part that's exposed from the socket you put the magnet in, and then stick the rest of your magnets against it. You can like break them apart, of course. Stick the magnet against it, and then Sharpie that end as well. But I'll show you when I get to it. You just want to be able to differentiate the poles of your magnets. So I'm going to need a smaller bit. You're going, there's actually some magnets inside the bit. That's funny. All right. Let's get these separated. Come on. I got big fat fingers. There we go. So we are going to take that out. That was the one that came with this. So I believe, well, you know what? Let's take a look. We've got 1 millimeter in here. That will be the fourth or fifth one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me double check. Let's get these drills out of here. Yeah, I think. I'm sorry. Oh. That's interesting. It was actually attaching to that one. This one should be correct size. You can always measure it against your magnets. However, we do want it a little bigger. Let's see. Always scale it. Yep, this is actually the right size. So you can always take your drill bit, the back end of it, and line it up with your magnets and see if it is the right size. And so you can see here that these are actually the correct size. So this is the correct drill bit that I need for this. So I need the smaller head for my drill. Pull that a bit more and secure the top back on. All right. And if you don't know how to properly hold the drill, I had to watch a lot of videos. This part here rotates. So you just put it roughly around here wherever is comfortable. Some people will do it like this. I always do it like this. Set it right here. Go here. And then when it's in, you have the model securing it, so it's not going to be, you're not going to be fighting to hold it. And then you just rotate. So I always use a thumbtack to push a guiding hole, a guiding divot, if you will. So you want to try to get it as close to center as you can. You want it at the correct angle that the magnet is going in. So going to want to about there and just apply pressure There we go. We can do a little harder than that. There we go. Now, yeah, do forgive me for the camera quality and all that. The light is a little too bright, but I can't dim it anymore. Otherwise, if I dim it anymore, it's off. So we're gonna take a little bit. Let me bring this up here so you can see it. Apply pressure. You see how now, because the model is held against it. All right, and let's see if you can see it. I'm trying to bring it to where, almost had it. Just want to get it to where you can see, so you can kind of see right there where the drill and the arm is rotating. You can see that bit of plastic is coming out in swirls. That is what you want to see. I don't want to drill too far, but worst case scenario, if I drill too far, then I'll just pack 2 magnets in there instead of 1. But it's always best to do it a bit at a time, so that way you don't go too far and end up having to use more magnets. Alright, so now we'll just take a stack of the magnets and well, it's usually easier if you have a metal piece that you can pick them up with, if you have big fingers like I do. So like that. I don't need the full stack. I don't even need that many, but this will do. And what you want to do is you're going to take the magnets and you just want to line it up with the hole and see how far in the magnet goes. So it is not in all the way. So we're going to drill a bit more. Yeah, don't need to apply a lot of pressure. You don't need to go fast. Just take your time. And because the arm is at an angle, you don't want to go just have the arm and go flat. You want to come at it from an angle to where the arm itself that's going to be attaching will actually come up. So when you stick it together, it will be flush. Now, granted, of course, this is my first time doing it with a model like this at that angle myself. So it is a learning process. If I mess up, oh well. I can always just glue the model and get another one later on. I'm planning on getting the combat patrol when they come, when they're available. So I will hopefully be getting another one of these guys and can attempt again. But if you are ever uncomfortable or unsure, go to your local warhammer store if you can. See if they have any models that they're giving away for the month, anything free. Of course, most of the time you have to buy something in order to get it. But it does not hurt to ask. Say, hey, I'm trying to learn how to magnetize. Now, some people, they'll be like, no, you have to buy something. If you have to buy something, buy a box of something that you don't really care for. Maybe an army that that you don't use. I know it seems like it's a waste of your money, but it is a good practice tool. Okay. That is almost flush. We're almost there. So I am going at a slight straight, but also angle on it, because of how some of the arms are. There we go. That should be good. There you are. Yeah. I do highly recommend doing this on a light surface, hence why I have the booklet here, so I can see my magnets better. Get that little bit of plastic out the way. Make sure my hair's not in the way. Alright. That is almost completely flush. Almost completely flush. Need to do a little more. There we go. That should be good. Now, if you go a little too far, that is okay. It is actually probably better recommended to go a little deeper than the magnet. So let's actually do that. Because we are going to be packing green stuff into here as an extra security for it. So you are going to need, you have your green stuff, you are going to want some water, and you're going to want paper towels, and there we go. That is perfect. Okay, so just to show you all, you are going to need some super glue. This is the super glue I use, Loctite super glue, just because you squeeze the sides here for it, and yeah, there you go. I saw a bubble come up because I squeezed. But it has a better nozzle for control. I also am going to be using my texture tools. I'm going to use one texture tool initially for scooping it out and placing it into the hole that we drilled. But if you don't have a texture tool, I have the starter brush that came with the starter little box sets that comes with the pots of paint and the brush and the starter snippers only. But there's plenty of different ones. I have a few actually. I have some from 40K and I have some from Age of Sigmar. So I have a lot of these. This is the starter brush that I got with the very first little starter box I got that came with the paintbrush and all that. And I use this for green stuff. I use it for certain texture paints. And I use it just for like anytime I need some stippling or anything like that and don't need it to worry about using a good brush. This has lasted me. I've had this since 8th edition. I started using it. I actually started using it during 8th edition when I first painted. And it is still with me today. So do not underestimate these starter brushes. They're not that great of a brush, but they are a good starter brush. They will get you done. They will get stuff done, and they will last you as long as you take care of them. I have not taken care of it that great like I have my other brushes, but I still take care of it some. So ignore the bend on the tip of the brush. All right. So we've done that. We need to look again. Figure out that. Okay, so we are going to want that somewhat centered. We're going to want that, let's see, a little forward there. Again, I hope everyone's morning is going well. Hope you all rested well. All right. Because of how thick these are, I misspoke earlier when I said that I had 2x1 millimeters. I do not have 2x1 millimeter magnets. I have 1x1, then I have 3x1 and 5x1 millimeter magnets. Ooh. that out. Alright. Let's see how that is. Almost. And we just got to pull the little swirled shavings out. Sometimes they will want to stick. That is okay. Just carefully use your bit. Now, some people will use an X-Acto blade or a hobby knife. I also have my little thumbtack here. I don't have to worry about making the hole bigger. There we go. That should be good. Yep, there we go. Okay. So, what we are going to do we'll just set that there so it doesn't stick to the main stack. We are going to do is we're going to open up our pot of liquid green stuff. Where's our texture tool? Just had oh, they're here. I didn't take one out yet. So I've got paper towel next to me. I got a cup of water. If you are ever using the actual putty green stuff, the yellow and blue that you mix together, you want to dampen your fingers. Get your fingers wet first. So that way it's not sticking to your finger. So we just need a little dollop. Not even a dollop. That little bit right there should do. What we're going to do is put that into that. Clean off your tool. And then we're going to squeeze a dab of glue, super glue, into the spot. Now this is going to be messy because of how small it is, and I have big fingers. So I can guarantee you I've probably used a little too much super glue because of the dab. I accidentally pushed a little too hard, but that is okay. Again, learning process. And then we are going to want to go ahead and squeeze that. So now I'm about to make a mess on myself, but that is okay. Take my ring is already off. We have a magnet in there. Good. Take that. And then we need a non-magnetic non-melt piece, which I'm going to use the back of my brush to pack the magnet in. Come on, there you go. Okay. Ah, my overhead light died. Okay. So I believe I have 2 magnets in there. I know some people will actually use a metal tool with some cloth over it to help them with that, but I do not have that luxury. You know what? While that's drying a bit, I have some time to work before I do that. Let's see here. Where is the... I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab my cord for the light so I can charge it. Be right back. Let's pause the music first. and then be right back. Okay, so I'm looking at it. Those of you who are here, does it look clearer to you, better to you without that overhead light, or do you want the overhead light? Here we go. I got my cord for it. Because not having overhead light does make it to where nothing's being blurred out, per se. Being too bright. Excuse the hair. It's right there. Let's see, because the light does help me with seeing what I'm doing. All right, now let us see if we can scrape. Okay, good. I was able to get the second magnet out, and it fell right back on. Here we go. So I need to clear the magnet. There we go. Scrape all the green stuff off, the excess green stuff off the arm. Okay, there we go. Now, you could also, a file would be a good thing to have as well, just in case. But I'm afraid of getting a little messy here. All right. So the magnet is in there. Now, I did put it a little too far in. I did not pack enough green stuff into it. That is for sure. I did not pack enough green stuff. Let's go ahead and grab these. Get that magnet back attached back to here. So what we're going to do is figure out which side connects. Okay, so I'm pushing the magnets towards the one in the arm, and it is being pushed, which means this is the side we want. And this one has green stuff and super glue attached to it, so we will stick that there. So now we know. In fact, we're going to color this end, if my Sharpie will cooperate with me. There we go. So now we know that any magnets on this end are going to be going into that, so we will be having to stick, actually, this is the part that's going to be going in, so yeah. Let's correct that, actually. Let's do it this way. Okay, you know what, that one is, yeah, so you're going to have some magnets that are going to get just ruined because of that. So, double check. Okay, so because this is the opposite end, they would connect this way. So we're going to Sharpie this end. So that way, when we are magnetizing the weapons, the hands, we will be making sure that this is the side that is facing us, and this is the side going into the weapon option. So yeah, make sure that you do that. Once you get your first magnet in, figure out which end is the opposite, so that way you can make sure that the opposite end is going into the weapon first. So you're going to color in the part that would attach first. So that way you know you want to hold it from that end to put into the gear. So we're going to check again on the hole and there we go. Okay, so that will go in. That is going to be a little difficult for me, making sure that I get that out of there. So what I might have to do is take one magnet off of there. In fact, let's find a good... Okay, good. So that will work. Actually, I could use a safety pin. You know what? We'll just use this. So we're going to take the magnet we're going to be using off of here, stick it onto this, so that way I know this is the end that needs to go in. Just double check. We can bring that end. Good. So since it is pushing, that is the correct way. We are going to, I'll use the thumbtack to pack the liquid green stuff into there. So let's not get as much liquid green stuff as we did that last time. That's still quite a lot. Okay, that will have to do. That'll do, pig. And then we just want to get it there. Get our sheet of paper towel. Clean off the tool. And then we are going to use the thumbtack, without stabbing myself, to get it in there. There we go. Clean off the thumbtack. And then let's see if we can do this, a proper small bit of super glue. Okay. And then we're going to get that on there and see what we can do. There we go. There we go. Script it right in. Let's go. Then we use the back of the brush to pack it down. So, let's put the cap on the super glue. Where's the whip? There's the whip arm. And then we will use the thumbtack again. That does not look like it's centered, but oh well. It is what it is. This is a learning process. Granted, I have not looked to see if anyone's done magnetization videos for this model. This might be the first one. It is a learning process. Okay. Okay. Now we do want that to dry a little more before we do any more with that. So while we wait, go ahead and check out the other arm. Let's see, this is the one that goes down. Yeah, that actually is a nice instant dry fit like that. And then this one comes out. Let's see here. Like is I just flung the arm onto my floor, onto my gray floor. Lucky for me, I was able to hear where it went. Okay, there we go. We're good. We're good, everyone. Lucky for me, the arm and the socket, or in the shoulder, have this little divot. These little pieces that do connect, that like fit into each other as guides. So we know where they go. So we're going to try to drill a hole just in front of them. So you can see that mark right there above my finger. That fits into the arm right there. Both arms have that. So we're going to try to drill a hole just under it. So let's use the thumbtack. Just under and a little in front. My hair was in the angle, was in the camera. You know what? I'm wearing my headphones, so I can use those as a hairband. So let's pull my hair back. There we go. Nope, still, well, if I do it this way, there we go. Much better. Much better. My gorgeous locks aren't getting into the camera angle frequently again. Like in last week's, I think it was last week's video, if not two before that. Maybe it was during the stream even. Alright, so now I'm going to take, and this we just go, try to be as flat and straight as we can. Ooh, okay. So I ended up going into the torso, which is fine, because then we can just pack some liquid green stuff into there. Right, let's go ahead and there we go. And then we want about here. So I just jab myself. So yeah, again, because of what we are doing here, if you are a child, if you are underage, minor, please make sure that you have an adult with you, so you do not jab or pierce or slash yourself with anything. There we go. Okay, so we didn't have to measure the length of the magnet with the torso because we punched through. So okay, yeah, come here. Yeah, this is the side that is marked. So technically that is what would be going in, but we're just gonna measure the side for now. So we're just gauging. Halfway. We're halfway through. We're halfway there. Living on a prayer. I'm gonna try to keep that as straight and flush to the surface, the flat surface. Okay, almost there. Almost there. Once we get this set up, we will check the other side first for putting a magnet in this. Now, I think it said they recommend for your green stuff, you let it sit and dry for 12 to 24 hours. There we go. Good. Alright, so that's good. Alright, so let's check this out. Let's try it. It is not a strong connection because of the placement of the magnets. I did not put this as centered as I thought I did. Oh, there we go. Never mind. I just needed to put it at the correct angle. It is a loose fit. If I had done a better angle on the magnet, it would have been better. Of course, I can always try scraping away stuff over that. And of course, the magnet that's in the socket here is deeper than I wanted. So that is also on me. I didn't pack it enough with green stuff. Yeah. But it's holding. Okay, it's coming off. So, what I might have to do is either drill secondary hole. I could obliterate it and dig out the magnet that is in here. Or I could just try drilling alongside that magnet. I think it's staying like this because of the green stuff for now. That could be why it is staying at that spot. But we will see. We'll figure it out. But again, that is why you want to try to get your magnets as close to the center as possible on both parts. Yeah. Thinking it might be the green stuff and its tackiness that is letting them hold up together like that. Yeah, that's what it is. So I did not get the magnet in this arm centered like I thought I did. It was too far down. So there's enough of a connection that it can somewhat hold it, but probably won't be using this. I might later on, like I said, go through and drill more just to add a second magnet in there to try to connect that so they'll hold. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and try now. Go ahead here. And if this ends up pushing the magnet out, that would be fine too. Because then I can just pack it with extra green stuff. And it feels like I'm drilling against the magnet. I might be doing. I am. That's fine. That is fine. Now, it will be difficult to keep the second magnet from flipping onto that, possibly. But we will see. We shall see. Now, if I can actually shift this magnet that'd be a different story. I really should invest in some of those magnetizing glasses. And don't say, well, Mocha, you wear glasses already. Don't you go there. Okay. So let's see how these are pushing against. Are these going connected? These are not connecting. Good. So. Ah, dang it. Come back here. Yeah, I believe. Yep, it should be this angle. Okay, good. So I will need to really press hard, trying to keep them from sticking together. So let's get one magnet. Stick it to that. And let's see if we can do this. It's gonna be a little troublesome. Let's see if I can push it in. Yeah. It's gonna give me trouble. I need... Oh, you know what? Let's see if this will help. This is when having a second smaller tool would be beneficial. Oh, I almost had it. Almost had it. Okay. Yeah, see, and this is why it is best to... Okay, you know what? Let's just separate you. Gone forever. No, I'll find it eventually. But that does tell me I need to drill a little further. Oh, did I get the magnet out? I did. Good. Okay. I did. So, let's go ahead and pop you to that. So that means we want to... Let's go ahead. Yep, this is the side. That one is already... Actually, let's... Oh, there it is. There's the other magnet piece. There. Stick those together. Let's check to see how that looks. Okay, that is actually a better spot. So, let's try this again. First, let's make sure that these are the opposing... Actually, yeah. Let's make sure these are the opposing sides. Good. And we've got our marked end right here. It does help. Oh, I forgot about you two. Let's go ahead and drop you with these two there. Try to keep them oriented in a spot. So we will try this again. We will get some green stuff, because I just got some on my finger. Oh my goodness. I'm messy today. So messy. Let's actually get some from here. There we go. Always want to make sure that you keep that closed and sealed as best as you can. Okay. We got green stuff there. We will use the thumbtack to try and poke it into the hole that we made. Try to pack it in there. And then we will want my magnets. Come here, magnets, please. I know I have big fingers, but come on. Help a brother out. Want to separate one. There we go. And then we are going to want try to do a small dab. There we go. Actual proper small. Oh, I got some green stuff on there, so let's swipe that off before we put the cap back on. And then get the glue onto the bottom of the magnet. And then just find the hole. There we go. There we go. Perfect. I got it right in there. Now that should do better. Now we're going to let that sit for a bit. In fact, we're going to try to pack some more green stuff into the side, into the original hole. That might be a little too much, but it is okay. We want to pack that in there as best we can. Take it off of the magnet itself. Just keep moving it around. Alright, so again, this is my first time dealing with a character magnetization of the arms. The only model, like only troops I've ever magnetized were heads. That was for my Raven Guard lieutenant. So that way he could have the unhelmeted head, the regular helmeted head, and the beaked head. Alright, so where did it go? Here it is. I looked right at it multiple times. So now it should be in there enough to where I can start moving the green stuff around with the thumbtack and it not affect the magnet. There we go. Cool. And then we'll clean the thumbtack off so I can brush green stuff off of the magnet itself without scratching the magnet. We'll try using this end as well. We can actually potentially, there we go. We can brush it off with the flat end of the texture tool. There we go. And then we can just start wiping the excess off. There we go. Now, that should fit so much better when it is dry. I do not want to try connecting it now and then the magnet just being pulled out. It's not that strong of a magnet, but this is me we're talking about here. That's the kind of luck that your boy Mocha has. So let's see. Clean off. Let's go ahead and wet the end. There we go. Alright, so while that's drying again, let us take a look. I just did, alright, it was just this one. So we are going to go ahead and use that. So we want to, okay, yep, so that end. So That means you always want to try to keep them, even if they're on the opposite arm, you want to try to keep them the same polarity. So we will do this. There we go. And then we will color this side. So that way, for some reason, the magnet flips and we see a black mark on it while it's supposed to be in there. We know that it flipped somehow. Okay, yep, so that will fit in there. Double check, make sure from all the angles you can see. Well, we actually need to drill a little more. Alright. So there's the test fit. Okay, good. We got the test fit. So let's go ahead and use our texture tool again. We actually do not need this brush because of the size of the magnets and the model, the spots that we're working with. So we are going to use that. You don't need too much. And we can scrape away the excess once that is there. We're going to small bit. There we go. We don't even need a full dab. And then we get the magnet. Press it in. There we go. That is in. So we'll wipe off the magnet, get the super glue and the green stuff off it as best you can. And then we can use the texture tool to flatten it and scrape away any excess green stuff around it, the area. There we go. So that should be good. Worst case scenario, if one magnet is not good enough, we have enough real estate to be able to put another one up here and behind the little piece right there. Okay, so that should be enough time. Let's give it a shot. That actually... Oh yeah, there we go. That is better. Oh, that's much better. Much better. Yes. Of course, it's not going to be a seamless fit because I am human. I am Mocha. Okay, so that is... Has it really been it's actually been over an hour. Wow. I am honestly surprised. I cannot believe it's been over an hour. But yeah. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but that works. I did it, y'all. We did it. Yep. Repositioning that magnet, it is perfect. So let's go ahead and scrape off or brush around it more of the green stuff. So that way it is a better fit, more flush. Because there is green stuff in here. There we go. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, that's better. Cool. All right. That is one arm properly. Well, not magnetized good enough. But again, good point into what I was saying earlier about making sure that the magnets are in a good position and is close to the same spot as the one in the socket, in the arm. So, this one, let's go ahead and wipe, getting what we can off. So now, the attempt of this one. Let's see here, there they are. So, we want to make sure we find our one with the mark, that's this one. We want to make sure that these are opposites, and they are. Good. So now we're going to double check on the depth of this magnet in the hole. The hole needs to be a little deeper. Little. Not much. As some hair just came flying in. Wow. Okay. Let's try this again. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, we're going to double check just to make sure. Yep. This is where we want. So, we want to separate you. And put you there. And then double check again. Yep. You always check the polarity. Make sure your magnets are opposites and will not be going in the wrong way. So when you stick them in, they're not pushing away. I somewhat did that with my Annihilation / Catacomb Command Barge before. Luckily, I have two, so I was able to properly, like, okay, let's correct this portion and just make sure we do the opposite on the other one. And I did it. I corrected it. So, that is going to be good. So, let's go ahead and get our tool again. I still can't believe it's already been an hour. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so we are going to take that little dab. I'm going to pack you. Well, not pack, we're going to get you there. And we're going to wipe this off. And then use the thumbtack to clear that. And then scoop what we can into there. And then we want to scrape that divot clean. As clean as we can. For the arm socket to fit into it. There we go. And now a small. There we go. Always make sure you put the cap on your super glue properly so it does not dry out. And then we are going to glue on the bottom of the magnet. And then there we go. That is in. So we have time to work with. So let's go ahead and, so if I got some super glue on my finger, that's okay. Let's use the texture tool. clear out the socket and the shoulder where the connecting arm goes. Scrape away any excess green stuff from there. There we go. That's actually cleaning up really nicely. Alright. And just to make sure that that is pushed and packed in. Right, let's use the spade end just to make sure. There we go. Okay. And I am still debating on the color scheme for these models. I am not sure. I am leaning more towards the black and violet or lavender. Let's give it a shot. And there we go. That arm is good. And then, of course, when it's fully dry, I can press them a little firmer against each other to make sure. Now, the only downside about doing this with this arm is the pauldron, because that means we're going to have to magnetize the pauldron, which isn't going to be too much of a problem, because what we can do is we just need to drill deeper into the shoulder from this side on both arms. Drill deeper in, make sure it's at the right angle, so that way we can glue a magnet to the pauldron itself on the interior. And so pretend that this is the pauldron itself. Actually, let's do it here. There we go. So pretend this is the pauldron and this is the magnet. This is how we'd want the magnet to actually be. We'd want the magnet hanging out there, drill further in, have a magnet deep inside there, so that way we can just pop it in. And then when we want to take them off, we just take them off. But yeah, that is a good fit. That is almost a perfect fit right there. And like I said, when it's dry, I can scrape around more of the green stuff and push these harder against each other to make sure. But let's go ahead and actually, so this is the back of my paintbrush, just to make sure that this is packed in and as flush as we can get it. There we go. Yep, there we go. That's actually better. I was able to, it still has some room to be packed in. Good. This one can actually be pushed a little more too. We don't want to push this too hard. End up popping it into the model itself. Ah, there we go. Yep, it still had room to go. Brush that off. Oh, that's actually perfect. That is perfect. Looking at it, you would think that that is glued on there. You would think that that is glued on. That is perfect. Yes. Good. All right. Cool. So now I will glue. I don't know. Yeah, I think I will glue. Because what I could do is magnetize just this for the sword and the pistol, and then just glue this to this arm here. Because that could have the pistol coming down But I do like having the option of the pistol coming out. So what I think I will do is I will glue the sword to that hand, or to that arm only. So what we will do is go ahead and do that now while we have the arm on there, and then we can start working on magnetizing the other hand, the right side again. All right. Ah, well, you know what? Let's just do it that way. Let's just do the smart thing. Just press it. Let it start to settle. And then we can rotate it if we need to. Nope, not enough glue on it. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. So once we get this situated, we can move on to the right arm again, to where we can magnetize the plasma pistol and the power fist. A few more seconds for this to try to settle in. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and check it out, see what it looks like. There we go. And there you are. Right, so it is weighing it a bit. So what I will need to do, it's looking like, is I will need to set up a second magnet, like I initially thought, into the back portion of the socket. So, okay, so that will do for now. Let's let that dry. So what I am going to have to do is drill another hole up here. So let me bring this up so you can see where it is. There we go. As best as I can get it. So right here is where I have the magnet. But I'll put another one up here. So that way it has some additional support. So let's actually go ahead and start drilling that hole now. And we're just going to drill through, but don't rush it. Don't want to push too hard and cause any extra damage to it. We're just going to take our time drilling through until we punch through. I think we're about to punch through any second now. Yep, there we go. There we go. And then just clear through again. Through. Good. Okay. And then let's see here. Okay. Our magnets. I believe this is right. Okay. So we need to make sure putting this in, because this end went into there, so it is like this. Yep. So we want to make sure that we do it that way. So we're going to do it that way. Then this end, we're going to stick them here. And then separate. We're going to double check again. Make sure they are pushing. Oh, they are connecting. Because that's how they're going to... Okay. Yep, that's how they're going to go that way, actually. So let's double check. So I am having a moment. So let's double check. This is our marked end here. So that's that. So that is how that would go into there. So we want the magnetized part connecting. So yeah. If it connects, that means it's going in. That's all right. So it's going to go in the correct way. We need them. Okay, careful now. Don't need you rotating on me. So if that is the case, let us grab our stack of magnets. That is that. So let's make sure that they push. Oh, they are connecting. I am confusing myself. Please bear with me. Excuse you. I need one to stay on. Okay. So, yeah. We need to make sure that these are pushing. Okay, so if those are pushing, those are connecting, then that means that is at the wrong spot. If the black mark connects. Okay, good. Yeah, because then that side will. Check. Yep, okay, good. I got it going the right way. I had to... It's like the saying goes, measure twice, cut once. Let's go ahead and get a small little scoop of some green stuff. Pack it around. Let's go ahead and get that wet so we can clean it off properly. And then use the thumbtack to pack the green stuff in as best we can. Then we are going to add a oop of super glue. There we go. Then we'll wipe that off. I already have some on me. And then we just want to swipe. Oh, you bastard. Okay, scheisse. The magnet turned. Crap. We need to figure this out again. We need that side connects. So we need you to go in. There we go. I did it. Oh. Just gotta get a little more super glue. Into that. And then use the texture tool to just smear around. And get the green stuff moved around, cleared off of it. Yep. All right. And then just scrape green stuff. And the super glue. There we go. So we are definitely using 2 magnets here for this. Because if it's doing that with the sword, it's definitely gonna not gonna want to support that lance. So we want to make sure that we can use our thumb. Okay. So then we're going to want to drill one. Let's see how that actually holds. Yeah, we're going to need to have a second magnet put into the arm itself. So we have one there. Might actually have to drill into that little... Yeah, we are going to need a second magnet in the arm itself. That fits there like that. Yeah, we're going to need the second one for the support. So it is going to need to go... Let's try to clear this off so we can see it better. Yeah. As I have proven here, I am not a professional. We want to make sure that this magnet is exposed as much as can. Get as much green stuff off of it as we can. There we go. And then the wrist should be good. And we'll go ahead and... Hi. How are you doing? Welcome. It's going. This is my first time magnetizing arms on a model. So it is a learning process. We are doing, of course, the Lord Exultant. I decided I'm going to glue the sword into this arm. So that way the pistol and the lance are going to look like, let's move these, like this. And then the sword is just going to be like this. So I just went ahead and glued the hand on. Because of the weight, figured we are going to need to do 2 magnets in this arm. This arm should be good with 1. Hopefully. I'm working with the magnets that I have. I do not have fantastic magnets, but I have magnets that should hopefully just do the job. But how are you doing? Thank you for popping into the stream. Appreciate that. Normally I'd be using my thumbtack to poke a guiding hole, but we are just going for it right now because of the fact that it has that little indent there already. I don't need one. Oh, nice. What minis are you painting? And please let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet. If my voice is too loud or too quiet, let me know so I can adjust. Get that cleared. All right. Let's see how far. Magnets. As you can see, my 1x1mm magnets versus my big sausage fingers. Krieg Command Squad. Nice. Okay, good. That's good to hear. Nice. How long have you been into the hobby? So that's definitely got some more to go. Let go of my drill, please. Thank you. Yeah, because I should already have most of these models built already, but I only have 10 tormentors built. I still have yet to build my infractors. I have yet to build the noise marines, because instead of doing that, I was putting my about half a year. Nice. So you're still relatively new to the hobby. That's awesome. You went with Krieg. That's a good, especially since they just got their new stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've been putting together my Night Lords and my Tyranids. I just finally, now I have 2 start collecting boxes for the Tyranids. So that's from 8th edition. I just put together 1 Broodlord, the Trigon, and then I put the head and the bodies together of the 8 Gene Stealers in one box. I still have to do the 4 arms for those 8 Gene Stealers. Then I have to put together the other box, and I'm going to do a Moloch. And then the Broodlord in that box, I'm probably going to do his arms in a different position. But, yeah. So what made you interested in the Kriegs in Krieg? What made you want to do a Krieg army? Okay. Excuse you, thank you. I know I got sausage fingers here, but you can cooperate a little bit. I knew that was gonna happen. Okay. Good. Good. Alright, so let's separate you. Put you. Oh, I didn't clean it off still. Let's green stuff off here as best I can. There we go. There we go. And then strip that off. There we go. So that way I know which side it is. Let's put these here so I don't lose them. Alright, now green stuff. First just thought they looked cool. Hey! That is legit the main reason most people start with the armies they do, because they think they look cool. My first army, it was a tie. I was debating between the Necrons and the Tyranids, and my buddy Mystic Naz happened to have some Necron, a box of Lichguard / Triarch Praetorians. I was like, well, here, I've got these. I'm not gonna be doing a Necron army, so you can have them. So that's what made me want to do Necrons first. So I did Necrons during 8th edition. And I built up. I started Death Guard. And, of course, Space Marines during then as well. But the Space Marines were started just because I wanted a Death Guard, and the best Death Guard stuff was in the starter boxes in the 3 tiers then. So I had started Space Marines. I was like, eventually I'll do a Space Marine army. And now, what was it, during 9th edition, I started collecting Tyranids, and I just got glue on my finger. It's like, you know what? I'm torn between Raven Guard and Salamanders. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and start my Tyranid stuff. Started my Tyranid stuff. And then, of course, they announced that Tyranids were going to be the bad guys for 11th edition. Or for 10th edition. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with picking an army just because you thought they looked cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. That is typically the best way to start an army. Find one that interests you the most, that you think is cool, and then run with it. Scrape this green stuff out of here. You're out of here. Be collecting some Marines and Nids on the side with the Combat Patrol magazine. Oh, nice! Nice! What, Space Marine chapter are you thinking about going with? So like I said, I have a sizable number of Space Marines because of the starter box sets. And I'm excited for the Death Guard stuff coming out soon. Of course, I just started my Emperor's Children with the Champions of Slaanesh box set, so fingers crossed, y'all. Let's go. It's got a little swivel to it, but that is okay because it's not going to go back. It'll go forward a bit, but that is there. Oh, that is awesome. Did it. Did it. That's a little... Push a little harder to see. There we go. Yeah. Cool. That is that. So we can go ahead and wipe some more away. There's probably some green stuff keeping it from making better contact. But that should be that. Yeah, there's a little green stuff in there. Cool. Let's press. Let's actually use this. Make sure everything is pressed in without breaking the brush because I can feel it bending. Alright, and then bristles are stiff enough. Should be able to brush any debris away. Okay. Actually, we should do that on this as well. Brush any excess debris away if we can. Okay, so that will do. That will have to do. There we go. Okay. Had to get it into the right spot. Yeah. Come here. Make sure we have those there, and then we have the one like that. So there, that is the sword arm, and then the whip magnetized. So there. All right. So now we need to magnetize the plasma pistol, the power fist, and then where's the noise pistol? Oh no, that's the heads. One of the heads. There's the other head. Where's the My goodness. Where's the other pistol at? There it is. Under there. Okay. So, we're going to need to make sure that we have a good connection on these. A really good connection. So, we need to make sure that it is lined up properly. Yeah. It's going to be a tough one to... Where'd you go? There you are. Goodness. Huh. It would be like that. So yeah, we are going to need to make sure we're going to drill up into there and down there for sure. And then we are probably gonna want to put two. We're gonna need to figure out the placement, which we want to do. Let's see here. I think that might be the proper placement. And then the lance. Yeah, so it's gonna be a toughie. I'm wanting to put two magnets in there, but I'm gonna want to make sure I have the support, so they're gonna have to be above and under, over and under. All right. So first, we'll go ahead and work on this side. Let's go ahead and do the head while I'm thinking about it. Let's go ahead and do the head. Let's find the center point and drill. Now we are going to drill into, we're going to punch through because of how thin that spot is. Just like how we did on the left arm over here in the shoulder. It's not as centered as I was hoping. It is off to an angle. That is my fault. That is going to be tough to do. It's going to be a tough angle to try to figure. So, should I just go ahead and settle on a head? Because I do know that when I get the combat patrol box, I am going to actually glue it together as how it is shown as a combat patrol, which is going to be the power fist and this little glaive here. And of course, it's got that head. So do I want to just go ahead and dedicate to this head? I could save this head for another model and just commit and glue this one down. Thinking just because I did that off-center so much so, that's going to make it difficult to get the magnet in the right spot in the bottom of the neck. I think I will go ahead and just commit to gluing a head. I don't know. because that other one I'm going to be gluing as well. Let's see here. You know what? It should be fine. It should be fine. We're going to find the as close to center as we can. In fact, let's go ahead and use the thumbtack like we're supposed to be doing to make a guide. So we want to find, it's about here. Come on, there we go. Going to make a small little guide. Dimple. Let's see. That might be a little too far back. That's a little too far back, but that's okay. My headphone cord keeps brushing against my shin, so it's making me think something's under my desk when there's not. There we go. There we go. That should have to do. So now, I do not have very steady hands. Okay, there we go. We want to try to get into there. There we go. Okay. Clear that out with the thumbtack. Okay, good. We have a starter hole. So let's go ahead and put the magnet into the neck. So magnets are here. Let's go ahead. Okay, so that's the marked end. We'll go ahead and yeah, we'll go ahead and do it this way. There. So we're gonna have to be careful. All right, so green stuff. A little bit. Now, of course, some of the stuff you don't need to use green stuff. You can just use the super glue, but the green stuff just adds as an extra layer to hold and secure it. Now, if you're using magnetizing bigger stuff, like arms for like a hive tyrant or something, you're gonna want some green stuff, and you're gonna want the actual putty green stuff. A little dab. That was too much super glue, but it is what it is. All right, so let's use thumbtack to get that all there. There we go. It's packed into where the magnet's gonna push, and then we are going to push. Find the hole. Come on now. Ugh. Magnet is not wanting to cooperate with me. Let's get a new magnet. Let us. Yeah, I put too much green stuff down and didn't pack it enough. Okay, now I can see it. There we go. Magnet's in. Nope, magnet just came right back out. Magnet is coming back out with this. So I'm going to need a different method to get this down there. What will it stick to? I could try with the thumbtack. We'll try with the thumbtack. So let's get a little more green stuff. I have a better idea. We'll get some green stuff. Pack it into there as best we can. Make a little holes where I can see it. There we go. And then let's try this again, but with less super glue. There we go. Get that down there. And then get that all on the bottom of it. And then there we go. Did it. Had to use the thumbtack to fit it in there. But we did it. So now we can use the back of the brush to make sure it is packed in. There we go. And then the texture tool that I do not. Oh, there you go. It does not help that I'm using black tools on a black background workstation. Scrape this green stuff out of here. Sheesh, we've been going for almost 2 hours. Grant, you had the 6-minute countdown, but then okay. Magnet seems to have possibly pushed a little too far in, which means we're going to want the magnet that we put into the neck be sticking out a little more. Come here. Oh my goodness, seriously. If these were to fall on the floor, I would just have to end the stream because I would never find them. Granted, I have more magnets here, but still. So let's see how far that is in this neck. Okay, so a little further, but not too further, too much further. Okay. There you are. Goodness. Cooperate with me, please. Thank you. Cooperate with my sausage fingers. Okay. Need to go a little hard. There we go. Now I'm going. It's like I wasn't drilling. A little further. I don't want to drill too far. Okay. Clear this off so I don't think I'm getting further when I'm not. Alright. Let's try this side. Let's see. what we're looking at. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, that is the end. Well, let's find out. Yep, good. So this is the end we want going into the neck. So if that is the case, let's go ahead and separate you. Clear you off of green stuff and glue. Get you onto that. Okay. We got, okay. So it's looking like we will not be magnetizing everything on stream today, just because I do need to make sure I eat, get cleaned up, and ready for D&D, because I do have D&D today. But we will have magnetized one arm, or we would have magnetized both arms for one weapon option each for now, and the head. So that's not a bad thing to get done in a 2-hour stream. Of course, I will have to do some more magnetization off camera on other models and stuff just to get myself more comfortable. That's way too much, way too much. There we go. Just to get myself more comfortable and confident. And I will have to do a video later on showing you all the final result of everything on this being magnetized, for sure. Without a doubt. And let's get a... Let's see if we can get a bit going. Touch. There we go. And we just gotta clean that off. Put the cap on. And then we are going to scoop the magnet in. Oi, oi, none of that. Alright. Find the hole. It is there. Aye. There we go. And it is in. So now let's clean off this. And then we want to around, get everything. Oh no, I pushed the magnet out. Crap. Push the magnet out. Oh well. Oh well. That's okay. Things happen. It is okay. It is not the end of the world. I just know I need to be more careful now. So now, where's my magnets? We need to check again. That's my marked magnet, so it should be like this. Yep, okay. So let's do this again. Put you on this side. Let's try again. More green stuff. Let's do a little less green stuff this time. Just get on the corner. There we go. Yeah, if I had not pushed the magnet too far into the torso portion of the neck already, then I would be able to make this one more flush, deeper, and I wouldn't have to worry about it being pushed out when scraping around it. So, but now I will make sure to let it dry a bit more before scraping around it that hard. So make sure we get dab touched on there. And then let's do this again. There you are. And then rub away. Super glue on my finger. Make sure my plastic glue is sealed up. Okay. Now, what we will do is just scrape at the glue stuff, or the glue stuff, the green stuff around the head of the magnet to expose the magnet. Let that dry a bit. Let's go ahead and dampen that so we can do this. Oh, but yeah, let that dry. Let's go ahead and put this on here. Again, I don't have the cape or the chest bit on just because it's easier for me to prime and paint all the under stuff. Granted, there's stuff that won't be seen when painted and put together all the way, but I'll know. So I like to just go ahead and prime, paint, and then I can super glue the rest of the stuff on. Okay. So let's gently scrape around the magnet. So that way we can get this green stuff cleared up. So that way it will sit better in the cavity when we go to connect the magnets. We'll make sure that this is pressed in. As best as we can. Okay. Should be good. It's one way to find out, y'all. A moment of truth. How did Mocha do? The head is staying on. Granted, it is at a weird angle. Oh, because it came out. Son of a... Alright, so... I popped the arm off because I had to scoop the magnet back in, so... we will let that sit more. That was not ready to be tested, obviously. In fact, let's go ahead and do another of super glue. Calm yourself, super glue. And then we are going to smear it around off of the magnet itself, so that way it's just around it. But that is taken care of, so hopefully when that super glue dries, we'll give it a few moments. Now, of course, if I had stronger magnets, it would be more, it'd be a lot better. It's just no beating around the bush with that. But okay, so that is that. Where'd you go? Where did you go? I miss you so. Oh, there you are. Okay. We will go ahead and just pop on. Which one should we pop on? We'll pop this one on for now. That'd be nice. By the time that's done, the glue should be dried enough. So let's actually go ahead and press down around the magnet. Scrape away excess. All right. Make sure that is pressed in. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Where's my thumbtack? Oh, thumbtack. There you are. Let's try clearing up some more of this green stuff from it. Yeah, because that is definitely not centered here in the torso portion. And it's definitely pushed in a little too far. That's fine. But yeah, again, like I said, it is not going to be perfect because I am human. I am trying out something different. And because this is a model that will technically be in abundance, I say quotations because it's going to be available in the combat patrol. Then it will eventually be available on its own. Worst case scenario, if I get stuff magnetized better, if I get another model that I can magnetize and attempt to be better at that in the future, then I can have that. And then this one, I can just glue an option together. But it is... Oh, you weren't doing that before. Well, that actually seems to be doing a better placement. Oh, yeah. That's why. That is actually a better placement of it, sadly. So, okay. Well, it'll be different for sure from how I was expecting it to be. But hey, again, it is a learning experience. That is actually looking like a better holding in that position. All right. Should be good. Let's find out. Yeah, so the head's going to be cocked. But that is fine. The head is going to be cocked. But that's fine. So it's going to be coming at you. Okay, seriously. Let's see if I can do it with this hand better. There we go. That's actually not bad. Yeah, it's at an angle. But, hey, it's different. It's unique. It's got character. And then the arm just dropped. Okay. That's fine. When it's painted, it'll have a little bit more friction. But yeah, so that is that. Let's go ahead and come back up to me and take my headphones off now. Where's me? Where's my face? There's my face. All right. Really? What? Oh, that's wrong one. That's why. Goodness. Here we go. Let's bring me up a bit more. Bring up the Mocha Bear to proper size. There we go. That's better. Let's do it this way. There we go. That's better. That's a better size Mocha. But yeah, so yeah, it definitely take more than 2 hours to do it all, but especially since I've never done this one before or done arms before. But we got Lord Exultant, partially magnetized for now. We've got the head magnetized at a cocked angle because I didn't do it centered. And then we have the lash, I don't remember the name of it, magnetized, and then the sword magnetized. The sword is glued into that arm, but that arm is magnetized. So we did it. It's not exactly what we were hoping to get completed today. We were hoping to get more. I was hoping better of myself. I was hoping to do better than that. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I beat myself up for not getting things done the way I see them in my head and the way that I feel they can and should be done. But I have to keep reminding myself, this is my first time doing magnetization like this on a character model, on a non-vehicle, I should say, other than a head. Unfortunately, I did not magnetize the head squarely like I did for my Raven Guard, but again, like I said, it gives the model character and makes it look unique. If I were to glue that head onto another Lord Exultant, that one will be more straight, where this one is cocked and at an angle. So I'm fine with that. And like I said, later on, when I get some more of the Lord Exultants, I'm probably gonna get at least 3 more. So that way I can have one magnetized exactly the way it's gonna be for the combat patrol. Have one did I say magnetized for it? Glued for the combat patrol. And then I'm gonna have another one glued to a different way that I'm gonna want. And then a fourth one, the fourth model I'll have will be another one to magnetize to attempt for. Because if I can do a better job on magnetizing that one than this one, I will glue the parts that I just like, you know what, I'll go ahead and glue those on because those are the ones that fit the best to the magnets. But yeah. Again, we did not get as far as I was expecting. If I didn't have D&D today, I would be going in for another like 47 minutes. So that way I'd have an hour till my game, but I do need to clean up, I need to eat, and I just want to relax. I'm probably going to build some work on building my Gene Stealers. But I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you found it relaxing. Make sure everything is working over there. Okay. I hope you found this relaxing, entertaining, helpful. If you were looking at magnetizing a Lord Exultant, you could see what I did, what you should do and what you should not do. Definitely listen to the advice I gave, especially since some of it I didn't take myself while giving it. But then again, I do have big sausage fingers and little shaky hands working on these tiny minis. But I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur doing what I can for the time. The more I do it, the better I will get. So it's just practice by doing with this stuff. If you want to practice on other models, feel free to go out to your local hobby store, game store, your Warhammer store if you have one nearby. Ask about potentially a free model for the month, see if they'll let you get it. But make sure you take building tools because they will. Most times I'm told they do not have the tools for you to use, so you'll need to buy some. Take your own clippers, your own hobby knife or mold line remover, and your own glue. But if they don't have one, buy either a cheap box of models or a cheap character that probably one that you're not going to really need, just so if you mess up, it's not one like, well, I can't use him for my army now. You want a test model and try it out. You know what not to do, because I did a lot of mistakes magnetizing, especially without my Lehman Russ turret. Oh no! But again, you learn. We are all learning here. Worst case scenario is something you can always just glue down. But yeah, that is the point of all of this. The point of this channel is to spread awareness of different hobbies, to spread awareness of what you can and should not do, what you can do, you probably should do, give you ideas. And if anyone ever has ideas or recommendations, on how things to do, let me know. Again, I love... Yo, what's up? Hi, welcome. You're just popping in. I'm about to end the stream. Just got your box not too long ago. Nice, nice. Let me go ahead and show you what I've done. So I only got the 2 arms and the head magnetized. Let me see here if I can do it this way. There we go. So I got the arm on... So the arm with the sword, I glued the hand to the wrist, but I magnetized the arm. And then the one with the whip, I just magnetized because the arm, the shoulder is one piece, so I just magnetized... Well, that's the sword. So let me just put that down. Yeah, just magnetized in there. Now, it's not perfect, of course. It's not perfect because I missed some spots, or I drilled at the wrong angle, whatnot. Like the head, for example, let's bring that back up, is at a cocked angle. But hey, it's fine because it's different. He's got character now. So, but yeah, in 2 hours, I was able to get just that done. I still have the glaive and the sound pistol and the noise pistol. I'm still new to Emperor's Children, so I'm still learning things about the names of their weapons and all that. But I still have those to do, which I am going to have to do a magnetize the wrist over and under. So that way they don't dangle, especially the lance. And then I'm going to have to magnetize this here. So this is going to be magnetized for the other 2 weapons. I still have to magnetize the plasma pistol and the power fist. So hopefully I don't have to do 2 magnets for that side as well. I should be able to do just 1 center. In fact, the power fist, I might be able to actually put a 3mm magnet in, and that should hold it. You play these units are much better for fantasy fights, role-playing games like Black Crusade. You should look up Black Crusade core rulebook and Tome of Slaanesh. Fantasy flight games. Okay, I'll check this out. So my main army is Necrons. That's been my main army since 2nd year 8th edition. I can go ahead and turn this light off here. Yeah, 8th edition is when I got into Warhammer. 2nd year is when I started collecting. So I got my Necrons. Death Guard I got from the starter box sets, the 3 starter sets. I only got the first starter and then the ultimate one. And like the first one was like No Fear was the smaller box set. And then because of that, I was also getting my Space Marines. But I was focusing on Necrons and Death Guard. Then, because I was originally debating between Necrons and Tyranids, but like I said before in the stream, a buddy of mine had some Necron models boxes that he wasn't going to use. He decided he wasn't going to do Necrons, so he gave them to me, so that determined Necrons for my first army. Then, during 8th edition, 3rd year, they announced Necrons are going to be the big bads. Like, oh, I've actually got some Necrons started already, and I've been growing it, so cool, more stuff. Then during 9th edition, I was like, okay, I'm going to finally start my Tyranids, so I started getting the... start collecting box sets of Tyranids from 8th edition before the new stuff came out. And then I was like, I also want to start Night Lords. So I got Night Lords. I started collecting the Chaos Space Marines stuff for the combat patrols. And then they announced, while I already started collecting my Tyranids, that Tyranids were going to be the big bad for 10. I was like, hey, that's my other army. Cool. Out of print, but you can still find them online. I have very little Necrons to start with. Nids. Necrons is a better starting point. So Necrons, in my opinion, are one of the easiest factions or armies to go with for painting. They're finicky with putting together because of how small the limbs are. But they are perfect for painting because it's just, if you're going with default, silver, black, and then some green for the eyes and the onks or whatnot. Simple. But I have so actually I'll go ahead and grab. I have a Termagant fully painted. I might have to redo it. Higher tier than Space Marine rule wise. Yes. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my little Termagant that I have painted and based, but I need to go over him again with a Nuln Oil wash. All right. Also for beginner building. Yes. So I'll be right back. You all can still hear me. Yada yada. I'm going to grab stuff. I have some Death Guard painted as well, so I can grab one of those. But let me grab my painted Terminid, or Tyranid, my Termagant. I'm going to grab, you know what, I'll grab Imhotep the Stormlord. Actually, you know, it's just easier to grab this Overlord. And then I will grab my Demon Prince, my Nurgle Demon Prince. Coming back. I am here. I'm here. Okay. So, for the Termagant, this is my Termagant. You know what? Let's actually turn this light on again and see if we can... There we go. So that is my Termagant. That is the theme for my Tyranids. And I'll go ahead and announce it here. My Tyranid army, my High Fleet, is called High Fleet Vesuvius. So they have a black carapace with like a grayish. So like I said, I need to go over the skin with some Nuln Oil and maybe Agrax Earthshade. I have a tester I'm going to try it out with. But to make the skin a little darker and to make the details pop more. But the yellowish, the orangish yellow is supposed to be, they're called High Fleet Vesuvius because they burrow into the core of the planets and they make the planets pretty much volcanic in a way. So ash is always falling, so hence why I went with the oh goodness, what is the texture paint here that I used? It's the same one I used for my Necrons, but I need to darken it, brighten it a bit more. Use some gray seer to dry brush on there, but it makes ash. They make ash fall onto the planet's surface, and then they just come rushing through. And the yellow and glowing is because of their internals being like hot and whatnot, because of them being near the cores of the planets. But so that's what I went with my Tyranids. Here's my Necrons. The dynasty is called the Shutok Dynasty. Green, so yeah, the green screen is going to be going through. But, so the green stuff that you cannot see through is a bright neon green. So that's supposed to be the energy pulsing through the parts. But that is the Shutok Dynasty. My own custom dynasty. They are from forest worlds that have been burned to ash by... Well, their dynasty is from a planet that was a jungle planet. And when they awoke, it was burned to ash. Because the Tyranids came through there. The whole theory is that a splinter of High Fleet Vesuvius came there and was attacking Space Marines or Astra Militarum that were there. And they awoke due to the conflict, and they found their planet burning to ash. So that's kind of why I stuck with the bases being the same with that texture paint. And then my Demon Prince of Nurgle. I actually have the oh, what is it called? Resin. I have the resin model. And yeah, he was fun to paint. He was fun. I enjoyed painting this guy. He was a little difficult putting together with this arm in general for me, but he was fun. Yeah, I want to do narrative campaigns with my buddy, and of course I've got the mud with the Nerdle Rot texture paint in there over a green paint, so that way it has some shadow to it. But yeah, I wanted to have some kind of narrative theme uh around my armies. Um, in fact, I was thinking about, because I'm Raven Guard and Salamanders, that the Tyranids were there because of the Salamanders. So they're dealing with fire and ash, and so the conflict between the two of them would be burning the tomb world, and that's when the Shutak dynasty wakes up. So that's kind of what pewter. No, that's resin. If you're asking about the Demon Prince, he's resin. Raven Guard as well. Nice. I'm excited. Did you see the silhouette at the end of the Adepticon reveal stuff? The very end, we saw that silhouette was confirmed to be a Raven Guard. So I'm hoping that means that we are getting I can't remember his name. It's a character from 30K. Yeah, they showed a silhouette at the very end. It was like in the future, and it was a silhouette. I was like, that's a Space Marine. Wait a minute, isn't that a Raven Guard? And then the next day, people were showing the exact picture of that silhouette matched up, and it's a Raven Guard. So some people are thinking that the Raven Guard might be getting a new HQ. Okay. But yeah, they think he's gonna be an HQ model. Some of us are thinking that it is the character that Kavon Shrike believes should be the chapter master, because he does not want to be the chapter master. Hence why he is still wearing his third company colors. I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I love my Raven Guard. I started priming stuff finally for them and my Salamanders. I need to get some more of the upgrade sprues for those groups in general. But yeah, I'm hoping to try to get at least combat patrols for each faction that I have painted, fully painted, before the end of summer. My Necrons, I only have my Scorpec destroyers, excuse me, and my Doomstalker to paint. They're already primed. For the Tyranids, I need to paint everything. This is the only Tyranid model I have that is painted. I have a majority of the Combat Patrol primed already, but I need to paint. My Death Guard, I only have one model that needs to be primed, but I need to paint everything else. Yeah, I need to paint everything else for the Combat Patrol. And then so I sadly have not had I've had 2 10th edition matches on Tabletop Simulator with my buddy Mystic Naz. We had one 8th edition scrimmage on no 9th edition scrimmage on Tabletop Simulator a couple years ago. So, oh no, you're fine. You're fine. This is just giving me more material to go with. But we are very heavily interested in narrative play. In fact, during 9th edition, actually, we had 3 games. We had a test game to learn how to play. Then we had 2 narrative games that I ran. One was the Asher Militarum and versus his 1,000 Sons. And he was on board a ship trying to capture a commander that was because the ship was attacked and was just being destroyed pretty much, so they had to escape, and he was trying to capture this commander who was trapped while the Asher Militarum were trying to rescue this commander in the hull. So they ended up escaping, and sending a message down to the planet's surface saying, hey, we have 1,000 suns here, and then go down to the planet and the 1,000 suns are invading the planet, thinking that, oh, we got more Astra Militarum down here. When they get there, no, the Astra Militarum are already dead. Come to find out, the planet that they were on was a tomb world that had just woken up. And the Astra Militarum that were there were just wiped out. The scouting group, the scouting unit, was wiped out by the awakening Necrons. So the Necrons fought the 1,000 Suns. So it was a little fun. It was fun. 42. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I actually have a Necron model from I can't remember the name of the company, but they make resin stuff for Warhammer for alternate looks, and for the Necrons they had female warriors, Necron warriors, for the 8th edition model bodies. They have these hooded cloaked bodies for Immortals. They have all these different Overlord models, which are all female. And so I got one that looks like a Grim Reaper, which is sick. I have yet to put it together. She is going to be the actual Overlord of my dynasty, the Shutak dynasty. And I lore-wise, for my own personal flavor, before they all became Necrons, when they were Necron tier, she was actually a cousin of the Silent King himself. So that's my own little fun spin on it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Well, the Necron tier were male, female, everything. Like, they, just like humans, they had everything. So it's just that like 40K is more dominated by male figures and characters because of the Space Marines and everything that's required for that. But yeah, I figured to do something a little different for that. But yeah, eventually I'm gonna be doing a showcase of my armies individually. I'll have a video for each one showing what I have. I'm hoping to do that when I have a good number of painted. I have a good number of Necrons painted, but not enough. I have maybe 10% of what I have built painted, and then I have maybe 15 to 20% of my Necron collection built at most. So that's something that's going to be for a much later thing. I might try to do that. I might try to do something like that during at the end of summer, show what I've built and painted, or just what I have built. And then at the end of the year, I will show everything that I have. Ooh, actually, that's a good one. What I should do is show what I have painted and built. So, no, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll show what I've got built, and then at the end of the year, I will show what I have painted this year. Yes. Yes, exactly. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off so that way I can get cleaned up and eat. But again, everyone who was here, cannot really leave them half built. They are really very, very. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. So if you enjoyed this, if you found it entertaining, helpful, educational, fun in general, you liked it, please give a like, hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you've not already subscribed to the channel. Then hit the bell icon. Set notifications to all. Get notified when I upload videos and do live streams. Again, here on the Hobby Den, I do stuff for Warhammer. I do for 40K mostly, but some for Age of Sigmar. I'm hoping to do more Age of Sigmar in the future. I also do D&D and other TTRPG stuff, as well as Kickstarter promos and unboxings. I'm hoping to have an unboxing video done for this coming Sunday, for next Sunday, just because this coming Saturday, the 12th, is my birthday. I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not going to have anything live on Saturday here on Sunday, of course, but on Saturday on my gaming channel, you won't see anything there. This is going to be pre-recorded stuff. Try to do an unboxing video for a Sunday, the 13th, and then If I can get stuff built throughout the next couple weeks, I will probably do another live stream. I don't know if I'll be able to do the 20th. I think I have something going on the 20th, maybe the 27th. We'll see. But I will be showing off some like my Emperor's Children stuff. Once the Champions of Slaanesh box set is built, fully built, I will make sure to do a video showing them off as well. I might do a video showing me building the Infractors and the Noise Marines, just because they're kind of wonky in direction wise in my opinion. So I'll show you that. Yes, I am an Aries. Oh, well, happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated birthday. But also, please comment down below if you did or did not enjoy, why or why not. What were you hoping to see? What were you like, would have preferred to see this, or I didn't need to see that. If you've magnetized the Champions of Slaanesh box set, if you've magnetized the Lord Exultant, seen others magnetize it, I'd love to hear from you. Please post the links to them doing that down there. And then please lastly, share this video, bring awareness to my channel, and help me continue to grow. So that way I can interact with more of you in the comments of my videos, as well as during my live streams like I'm doing today. But please, as always, take care of yourselves. And until next time, hobby on.